Quackgrass, the living code of immortality, pushing through asphalt and concrete. In this installment, we dissect invincibility, how to harness the power of the weed that pierces stone, the instinct of beasts, why wildlife chooses this root over premium medicine, biological armor, how quackgrass's silica reshapes your body, tame the strength others dismiss as refuse. The archive opens. Part 1, Piercing the Earth, the anatomy of invincibility. Imagine a living entity that cannot be killed. Sever its head, and it becomes stronger. Slice its body into 100 pieces, and each fragment births a new, furious clone. This isn't a sci-fi horror flick or an alien life form description. This is happening right beneath your feet as you stroll through your garden or city park. Meet quackgrass. In agronomy, it's known as the bane of fields, but in nature's archive, it's listed under a different title, adept of invincibility. Quackgrass is the living embodiment of expansion. Its root system isn't just roots. They are horizontal rhizomes resembling high-tech drills. The quackgrass root possesses incredible hardness and a needle-sharp tip. It can effortlessly pierce a potato tuber, a dense turf layer, or even an old boot sole. This plant doesn't circumvent obstacles, it penetrates them. Biologists estimate that on 1 hectare of abandoned land, the total length of quackgrass rhizomes can reach hundreds of kilometers, with hundreds of millions of regeneration buds. Why does this matter to us? Because such phenomenal willpower doesn't materialize from nowhere. It's encoded in its chemical makeup. Quackgrass is a silicon giant. While other plants construct their cells from soft, organic matter, quackgrass saturates its tissues with silicic acid. It literally builds itself from the same material as glass and steel. It is silica that grants it this legendary resilience and ability to withstand any frost, drought, or mechanical damage. In the human body, silicon plays a similar role. It's the framework of our health. It's a trace element responsible for brain-body communication, the elasticity of our blood vessels, and the strength of our bones. Without silicon, calcium, the primary bone-building material, simply isn't absorbed. It becomes useless waste that settles in the kidneys as stones. Quackgrass offers us silicon in its most bioavailable form. By embracing quackgrass's potency, you literally reinforce your joints and ligaments, restoring the flexibility of your youth. But quackgrass's might isn't limited to mechanics. Its roots harbor a unique carbohydrate, triticin. This rare substance acts as high-octane fuel for our metabolism without causing sharp sugar spikes. Quackgrass is the perfect stabilizer. It seeks out pockets of chaos and stagnation in the body, gently yet relentlessly flushing out waste products. It's no wonder wild animals, wolves, dogs, cats, when poisoned or ill, ignore succulent meat and elite feeds, seeking out the tough, sharp leaves of quackgrass. They know what we've forgotten. This plant is a universal antidote. Quackgrass teaches us the philosophy of expansion. It doesn't waste energy on lush flowers or sweet fruits. All its strength is focused on moving forward, claiming territory, and fortifying its foundation. Its roots are an underground network of communication, transmitting survival signals. When you eradicate quackgrass from your land, you battle the most concentrated life force on the planet. But instead of fighting this titan, nature's archive offers an alliance. Quackgrass offers us its structure. It proposes we become as robust as its rhizome, impervious to plows and chemicals. In the next part, We'll delve into history to discover how this gardener's nightmare saved entire cities from extinction. We'll uncover the secret of the bread of life, baked by our ancestors from what we call trash today. Part 2. Forgotten Flower and the Medicine of Kings. A history of salvation. You won't find chapters dedicated to quackgrass in official history books. But if we peek into humanity's hidden archives of survival, we'll see that this weed was a faithful companion during humanity's harshest periods. When harvests failed, when bread fields withered under the sun, or were trampled by invading armies, it remained, the only one who didn't betray humanity. It grew where all else perished, offering its roots as a last line of defense against starvation. Our ancestors possessed knowledge that seems like magic today, but was in fact pure biological practice. They called the quackgrass root zhelyanic, or dog's tooth. In lean years, people dug up the long, sweet white rhizomes, dried them, and ground them into flour. This flour didn't just stave off hunger, it was remarkably nutritious. Unlike modern refined wheat, quackgrass flour contained the full power of the wild earth: proteins, essential oils, and a vast amount of natural sugars. Bread made from quackgrass was dark, aromatic, and gave people energy sufficient for a full day of hard labor. In medieval Europe, quackgrass was called the medicine of kings. Despite its accessibility, court physicians valued it as much as gold for its ability to purify blood and clear the mind. The archives of monastery pharmacies preserve recipes for quackgrass honey, thick decoctions of roots, given to monarchs for gout and severe edema. Quackgrass possessed a unique property. It made the kidneys function as perfect filters, expelling toxins that had accumulated over years from excessive consumption of wine and fatty meats. Interestingly, the great ancient Greek physician Dioscorides and his colleague Pliny the Elder, in their treatises, described quackgrass as the primary remedy for bladder stones. In an era when surgery was a life-threatening endeavor, quackgrass was nature's gentle scalpel. It didn't just induce urination, it altered the very structure of the body's internal environment, dissolving salt deposits and turning them to dust. Those who regularly consumed decoctions maintained ease of movement and clarity of vision well into old age. During periods of great expeditions and exploration, sailors carried sacks of dried quackgrass root. In conditions of scurvy and meager rations aboard ships, quackgrass was the sole source of minerals capable of keeping teeth and gums and spirit in the body. It prevented tissue decay and supported immunity where other remedies failed. This plant was a living preservative of human life. But why has this knowledge vanished? Why did we, at some point, decide quackgrass was our enemy? The answer lies in the Industrial Revolution. As agriculture became an industry, quackgrass became an impediment to machines. Plows couldn't handle its steel network, and harvesters became clogged with its tough stems. To sell us industrial wheat, the system needed to clear out its wild competitors. Quackgrass was outlawed, not because it was harmful, but because it couldn't be subjected to state control and taxation. It grew on its own, freely gifting people health that couldn't be monetized. During World War II, quackgrass again emerged from the shadows in partisan detachments and besieged cities. Its root replaced coffee, sugar, and vitamin supplements. Roasted roots were used to prepare a drink that not only invigorated, but also treated chronic bronchitis and pneumonia, which, in the conditions of damp forests and lack of antibiotics, was akin to a miracle. Quackgrass is an archive of our gene pool's resilience. Every cell within it remembers times when humanity and nature were one. It awaits its hour, preserving in its underground pantries the silicon, sugars, and minerals we desperately seek in expensive pharmacy jars. We try to eradicate it with chemicals, but it only laughs, pushing through dead soil and reminding us, true life is inextinguishable. In the next concluding part, we will address the most pressing question. How can modern humans, living in concrete jungles, harness the power of quackgrass? We will unveil the silicon conspiracy and provide practical keys to managing your own biology with the help of this great weed. Part 3. The Silicon Conspiracy. How to regain your steel support. We've arrived at modern Nutrilogy's most guarded secret. In a world where pharmacy shelves overflow with calcium supplements and advertisements promise strong bones and healthy teeth, one fundamental fact is omitted. Without silicon, none of it works. You can consume tons of vitamin D, but if your body lacks the silicon reinforcement, calcium won't integrate into bone structure. It will settle in your blood vessels, making them brittle, cement your heart valves, and turn into sand in your kidneys. Silicon deficiency is the invisible epidemic of megacities, and quackgrass is the only free answer to this challenge. Why is it economically advantageous for them to have you forget about quackgrass? Because silicon is an element of connection. It's responsible for transmitting impulses from the brain to muscles, for reaction speed, and for the clarity of neural pathways. A person experiencing silicon deficiency becomes sluggish, slow, and dependent on stimulants. Quackgrass offers biologically available silicic acid, which restores the conductivity of your tissues. It's essentially a rewiring of your body's electrical system. But how do you tame this titan in the 21st century? Reintroducing quackgrass into your diet doesn't require you to eat grass from lawns. Its true strength lies in its root, and the process of preparing it is an act of reclaiming your independence. The most potent way to derive benefit from quackgrass is by preparing a cold infusion or a live decoction. Dried and ground quackgrass roots aren't simply steeped in boiling water. They must surrender their silicon skeleton to the water. A glass of such infusion on an empty stomach is the best detoxification procedure you can give yourself. Quackgrass begins to work in the intestines as an intelligent sorbent. It binds toxins, heavy metals, and excess mucus. But unlike pharmacy charcoal, it simultaneously nourishes your beneficial microflora with that very triticin sugar we discussed earlier. For those suffering from skin problems, acne, eczema, or early wrinkles, quackgrass becomes a beautician from the depths. Silicon is the primary collagen builder. Instead of rubbing collagen on the outside, give your body the silicon from quackgrass, and it will begin to synthesize its own protein of youth. Within 2 weeks of drinking quackgrass tea, you'll notice changes in skin tone and a reduction in puffiness. This isn't magic. It's pure biochemistry of connective tissue restoration. Special attention should be paid to honey extract from quackgrass. In folk medicine, this method was considered the best for recovery after severe illnesses. Honey draws essential oils and minerals from the root, creating a concentrate of life force. A single spoonful of this preparation daily can boost immunity, where synthetic immunomodulators are powerless. Quackgrass imparts to you its ability to survive extreme conditions, its resistance to viruses and fungi. However, remember, quackgrass demands respect for its nature. As with burdock, never gather it where the earth is poisoned by civilization. Seek it in abandoned fields where the soil rests from pesticides. The ideal time for harvesting is early spring or late autumn, when the plant's entire energy is concentrated in its underground communication nodes. Quackgrass's philosophy is one of fundamental strength. We live in a world that tries to make us weak and fragile. We are conditioned to believe that health must be bought. But quackgrass, pushing through asphalt, laughs at this idea. It reminds us that we are made of the same material as the stars, and this is the steel earth beneath our feet. By bringing quackgrass back into your life, you cease to be a consumer of body repair services. You become the master of your own biology. Quackgrass doesn't just treat ailments, it changes your attitude towards adversity. A person with the silicon strength of this weed coursing through their veins develops the same indomitable will to live. You can be bent, but you cannot be broken. You can be cut into pieces, but you will regenerate and only become stronger. With this, we close the quackgrass file in our archive. But remember, knowledge without practice is dead weight. Step outside today. Look down. There, amidst the gray concrete and dust, beats the heart of a titan, ready to share its immortality with you. And remember, nature's power requires wisdom. Every plant has its contraindications, so this material is purely for informational purposes. Before integrating this knowledge into your life, be sure to consult with a qualified specialist, herbalist, or nutritionist. Your health is your responsibility. See you in the next archive.